I was talking to my good friend Desdemona the other day, and, she runs the space station and bake shop over there near Boomtown. She told me that human beings are flawed individuals, that the cosmic baker took us out of the oven a little bit too early. You know what? I think I believe her. Hi, I'm Chandler O'Quinn. Welcome to Chandler's Travels. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at some of the interesting connections of one of my favorite artists, Jimmy Buffett, and Orlando, Florida, including right here at Universal Studios. Hope you'll enjoy it. So for those of you who are not as well versed in the Jimmy Buffett verse, my cold open this time came from Fruitcakes. This was a album and song that was released in 1993, the music video for which was filmed right here at Universal Studios in Orlando. Just behind me is actually where Jimmy Buffett's Volkswagen thing crashed, and the fire hydrant spraying out as he continues to tell us about his philosophies on how we're all just crazy fruitcakes in this world, and that it's all of us coming together that make this world so great. It's truly one of the more philosophical of the Jimmy Buffett songs, and one of my favorites, and you can reenact all of the wonderful parts of that music video right here at Universal Studios in Florida. We'll see a few more pieces from that music video as we go along. So behind me is the backdrop where the ending of the music video takes place, where Jimmy Buffett has gotten together his entire cadre of carnival performers, Jewish rabbis, and Catholic priests, and Catholic schoolgirls, all to tell us that it's the little bit of every one of us that makes living in this world so great. It's the fruitcake in every one of us. So we'll continue on looking at some of the other shooting locations that happened here at Universal Studios. So this is the building that was used as Jimmy Buffett's house during the filming of the Fruitcakes video. This is where he's talking with his wife about how his wife treats her body like a temple and Jimmy Buffett treats his like a tent. That happened in the front yard here. So I thought I'd take just a moment to talk a little bit more, not just about Jimmy Buffett's personal philosophy as it shows up in Fruitcakes, but about the philosophy of his art in general. And I think that Fruitcakes shows that in its ultimate form. I think that Jimmy Buffett in many ways is the pinnacle of the postmodern boomer artist. You know where all of his influences come from. I mean, his first several albums are pretty much straight lifts of Gordon Lightfoot, and Jimmy Buffett would be the first to admit that. But he's still able to take all of these influences and put them together in, I'll say, a blender, and put out something that is uniquely his, uniquely Gulf and Western. Fruitcakes, you hear all these influences about 2001: A Space Odyssey, about putting in his Bob Marley tape. It is not one of his most timeless songs, as there are direct references to news, things that were happening in the 90s, such as the riots in Los Angeles, or the rocket ship that was lost. But in another way, those are also timeless things because there are always riots in Los Angeles, and there are always fires and mudslides. And the whole point of the song is to just get past that and remember who we are as human beings, and just, we're all a little bit crazy, and that's okay. And that's what makes that song so great. So we'll pick back up with some more of Jimmy Buffett lore here in Orlando. So I'm here at the Lone Palm Airport. That is a bar right across from the Margaritaville restaurant at Universal City Walk. And behind me is the Hemisphere Dancer. That is Jimmy Buffett's airplane. Now this started off in 1950 as a U.S. Navy Albatross boat plane. It was then purchased by Jimmy Buffett in the early 90s. And what is probably the biggest claim to fame is that this is the plane that Jimmy Buffett was flying when he was shot at by the Jamaican government. So I believe it's January 15th, 1996. Jimmy Buffett is hanging out with Bono, his wife, and I believe 3 kids, and then there is one other pilot. They are going around the Caribbean shooting the 20 best bars in the Caribbean. Some sort of TV special or movie or something. The weather was getting kind of rough. They decide that it would be better to just taxi into Negril, Jamaica, and once there they'll get some chicken wings. So they taxi into Negril, and as they are floating into the station, they start getting shot at by the Jamaican government. So they were shooting at them, and bullet holes were all over the bottom, all over the place. Bono says those boys came out of nowhere, and it was like a James Bond film. So it was something else to experience, and such an experience that Jimmy Buffett wrote a song about it, Jamaica Mistaka. That came out, I believe, also on the the Banana Winds album later in, I believe, 1998. So in 2003, Jimmy Buffett decided to give this plane to the City Walk here at Universal Orlando, and it has been here pretty much ever since. About 2 or 3 years ago, one of the conditions for Jimmy Buffett to give the plane was that it would always be fit for flying. By 20 years later, 2023, it was no longer fit for flying, so they took it over to an place in Melbourne, Florida, and had it completely redone, repainted. Now it looks brand new, and I guess if anyone ever needs to take a flight directly out of City Walk, they can get on the Hemisphere Dancer. Hello, I'm here at the Margaritaville Resort in Orlando. We are going to take a look at some of the interesting history upon which this resort now stands, what used to be here, and also take a little bit of a journey in maybe my own relationship with Jimmy Buffett. So let's take a look around. This Margaritaville Resort in Orlando is all built on the site of a former theme park. That theme park was partially owned by the People's Republic of China. This theme park opened through the late 80s, going into the 90s, was called Splendid China. And this was a sort of a PR move on the side of the People's Republic. The stuff that happened down in Tiananmen Square got people with sort of bad taste in their mouth about what was happening over in China. So they thought that the perfect way to ingratiate themselves with the American public was to set up a theme park in Orlando. And that theme park was called Splendid China. It was all sorts of miniatures of important buildings throughout China. So miniatures of the Great Wall of China, miniatures of the great temples, and different things, government buildings, and all sorts of important aspects of Chinese culture were also on display. So they had performances, and it just took over all of this land, you know, dozens and dozens of acres here in Orlando. And wouldn't you know, it just wasn't that successful. They already have a China pavilion in Epcot, along with all sorts of other countries and all sorts of other countries' alcohol there. So why come here when you could go to Epcot and experience that part of China and so much more? So it did not succeed, and it ended up folding, and then it was abandoned for years and years. And then Jimmy Buffett's company, Margaritaville, bought it up because you know, what is more appropriate than this failed communist experiment in the middle of Orlando being bought up by Jimmy Buffett and making it on island time, baby. So they put up hundreds of condos here, a large resort hotel, built a whole thing of shops and restaurants and everything that the People's Republic was not able to provide, Jimmy was able to provide here. It has since transferred ownership. It still has all of the licenses and has a great Margaritaville shop in here, but isn't actually operated by the Margaritaville Corporation. But yeah, that is just a little taste of the history of what used to be on this property. So behind me is the Margaritaville Studios at Sunset Walk. This is all on the Margaritaville Resort in Orlando. And I thought that this might be a good place to kind of talk a little bit about my own Jimmy Buffett journey. I'm not quite sure what happened here. It looks like some grass hut met an untimely demise, but I'm underneath another lovely grass hut here. I mean, that's just keeping with Jimmy's vibes. When one grass hut blows away, another grass hut takes its place. For those who know me personally, it may seem a little odd that I am such a large parrot head. That I am a teetotaler. I do not drink, never had a margarita in my life. Certainly have not enjoyed any of the other illicit substances that so often come up in Jimmy Buffett songs. So how is it that I just vibe with the island tunes of the Gulf and Western Sound? Well, I actually stumbled upon Jimmy a bit later in life, when, I mean, I don't know how much you can say later in life. I'm 30, but a lot of the things that I love, music and movies and culturally wise, I've loved all of my life. But Jimmy Buffett, I didn't really get into until I was in grad school. And as has sometimes come up in the channel, I don't have the highest opinion of academia, and that opinion was forged in the bellows of academia. So grad school was not a fun time for me. It was a very dark and depressing time, and never have I found more people who belonged, their behavior belonged in just catty middle school tactics more than it did in the halls of academia. Professors who judged you based on where you sat in a room on the first day. Your entire reputation was forged from that day onward. And all of these people just embittered by the fact that there are no jobs and that they hate teaching, which is what I love most in life, is teaching. That's why I'm doing this. Outside of my other jobs, I do this to teach even more history, and they hated it so much, and it was just such a bitter existence. And out of all that bitterness and misery, I stumbled upon Margaritaville, Sirius XM channel 24, and listening to the dulcet sounds of Jimmy saying, everything's gonna be all right, you know. Yes, Jimmy has a lot of very silly songs. As Mike Carlson from Podcast The Ride said, he's written more songs about food than Weird Al has. But Jimmy has a lot of songs about people who are in deep, dark places as well, because Jimmy has been in some deep, dark places. And the island vibes will see you through. No matter what happens in your life, you can find your way to some white sands and some turquoise water and a cheeseburger. And, you know, when I was thinking of, am I even going to have a job once I'm done with all of this school? Hey, it didn't matter. I could get myself down to Mobile, get myself down to Rockport or some other Gulf Coast community and teach history or just wander the beaches and make a life of it. And every day listening to Jimmy Buffett got me through that dark time and has gotten me through more dark times and good times and vacations and all sorts of great fun stuff. So coming here to the studio where J.D. Spradlin broadcasts so many of those great island tunes, it's very important to me. It's a pilgrimage that I make whenever I come here to Orlando. So I thought I would share this a little bit with you. And wherever you find that little bit of happiness in your life, whether it's from Jimmy or some other artist that's important to you, I hope that you also get to make those pilgrimages and share that music and love with the people in your life. So I'm here on the eastern coast of Florida. Needed a little bit of beach time. Wanted to talk about just a couple more things regarding my good friend Jimmy. If all of my recording and editing goes to plan, this episode will be coming out pretty close to Jimmy Buffett's birthday, which is Christmas Day. Just on the other side of the dunes here is Florida Highway A1A, which is now officially named Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway. A1A, I was hoping to find some of the signs that actually say that, but they're not all up everywhere yet. It's still so cool to see Highway A1A. I'm sure to locals or people who come here all the time, that means nothing to them. It's like if you're in Southern California and you drive on the PCH or 101, or you're in Texas and you drive on the Texas 36. It's just a highway. But to me, someone who loves Jimmy Buffett so much, A1A is my favorite album. It has gotten me through a lot, as we've talked about in this episode, and I think that album in particular, I mean, just looking at the cover of that album, he looks like he's a guy who's been through some things, and he had. He'd been through failure and divorce and found a new life for himself in Key West and making people happy, singing these songs. And I mean, A Pirate Looks at 40, trying to reason with hurricane season, migration, you know, so many things that just speak to my soul. So it was so important for me to get a little bit of time on A1A, listening to A1A, and then have a little bit of beach time just to think about Jimmy Buffett and all of the positivity that he's brought into my life here on what is, if everything goes to plan, very close to his birthday. But if I miss it and I get it after his birthday, you know, it's island vibes, you know, party foul. That's absolutely something that Jimmy would understand. But yeah, I think that wraps up my thoughts about Jimmy. Also, A1A has the song Dallas, which has some of the best advice about Dallas ever written. If you ever get the chance to go to Dallas, pass it by. All right, that's it. That's it for my Jimmy Buffett rambles. There's more important history things to talk about here, but just wanted to share all that with you on this Jimmy Buffett birthday season. We'll say that much. Until next time, please share, like, do all the things that you do when you like YouTube videos. Word of mouth helps grow the channel, and so that I can take even more parrot heads along with me on my journeys. So until next time, bubbles up, fins up, and vaya con Dios.